are back at the America First Warehouse. Welcome back to the episode 53, Know Your Enemies podcast. So we have our doctor on the line here, and he did a speech in front of the UN at the Foreign Affairs Committee that I found like mind-blowing, and I think it's very powerful. So if you want to get into maybe a summary of what you were saying at the UN, we'd appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, at the UN, I just kind of talked about what I'd seen in Gaza myself, and I talked about how I never saw a combatant in the Gaza Strip. Not that there aren't any. Obviously there are. There are plenty. But the idea that like the hospitals were overrun with combatants and that's why Israel was attacking them. The idea that there were people being used as human shields all the time, and that was what explained all these kids getting killed and shot and blown up. Just didn't fit with what I saw there personally. And then it was kind of surprising. I really thought that, with an American doctor testifying about having witnessed firsthand what an American ally is doing with American weapons, I really thought the U.S. ambassador would show up, but she didn't. Didn't even bother. Sent some poor low-level guy who then had to listen to me say, like I'm calling on my own government to just listen to the will of the American people. Most Americans, you look at polls, most Americans don't want us sending arms to Israel anymore. And at least not while they're doing this kind of stuff, this kind of crazy stuff,
Yeah.
So that was basically
genocide.
When people ask me that all the time, and I think it's a legitimate question, but what I always respond by saying is that I would actually be a witness in a genocide trial, not a judge. So I don't really know, but what I think people should just do is just ask. There are people who study genocide, like Omar Bartov, Raz Segal. There's all sorts of others. Those are the two Israeli names that come to mind. They largely say that Israel's attack on Gaza was genocidal. The International Association of Genocide Scholars voted, I think, like 8-1 or something to say that it's genocidal. Amnesty International found that it was genocidal. Human Rights Watch found that Israel committed acts of genocide in Gaza. Yep. The two founders of Human Rights Watch, one of whom is literally a Holocaust survivor, said that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. It's kind of hard to find an expert on Gaza an expert on genocide who doesn't think that the Israeli attack on Gaza is genocidal. So that kind of seals the deal for me.
Yeah. Now, have you seen the Greater Israel maps?
Yeah.
All right. So if you notice, with this whole peace deal that took place, it kind of stopped them from where they're at. They really can't advance anymore. But if you compare that to what the Greater Israel map looks like, there's still a lot of area that needs to be covered. So I don't know how long this peace deal is really going to last for.
Yeah, what do you think? I think 40 people have been killed, so maybe more, since the truce.
Yeah. Since the announcement of the truce, at least 100 Palestinians have been killed, actually. Yeah. It's pretty remarkable. The first thing the Israelis did on the announcement of the ceasefire was to destroy the only remaining water purification plant in all of Gaza. They burned literally everything they could on the way out of Gaza, as their forces were withdrawing to the Yellow Line from Gaza City. I hate saying this because it makes the whole society sound like it's crazy or something, but the Israeli goal in Gaza of ethnically cleansing the place hasn't changed. And in fact, their goal of ethnically cleansing all of what you call historic Palestine or Greater Israel, whatever term people want to use, it just hasn't changed, unfortunately. That's been the goal for a very long time. It's a pretty ugly goal. We unfortunately have a similar history here in our own country, but that was a real long time ago. Now, the world is supposed to have moved on to slightly more civilized ways of acting. And I think, quite frankly, I think most people are not proud of the way our country acted towards our own native population.
Yeah.
And that's a legitimate, there's no need to embrace everything in your country's history. Like, I hope Germans are horrified by what they did to the Jews in much more recently. So, you can't just say my country all the time. And I think, again, that's one of the things I like about American culture. But the Israelis are going to have to kind of get over this crazed notion, because if they want to have any kind of peace and security in the next 150, 200 years, remember how long it took us to actually clear the national territory, right? If they want that kind of peace and security, it's going to take a long, long, long time of warfare. And it's not going to be a pleasant thing.
Yeah.
They've got to get over this, and they've got to learn to live with their neighbors. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
I've been doing some research into the topic, and I found out that Theodor Herzl was one of the people that wanted to move, the Jews back to a land, right? And I heard before they chose Israel, they were looking at Kenya. There was like 3 other countries that they were looking into to relocate the settlers after the war, and they just happened to pick Israel because they're like, hey, we could, say that it's God's chosen people and we're supposed to be on the land, and it'll make things run smoother. And come to find out that a lot of these people don't even have roots that go back to that land with the Palestinian land. It's very, very strange.
Yeah, and I see a lot of violence out of the settlers trying to drive people out of their houses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In the West Bank, the settlers are completely out of control. I'm supposed to be in the West Bank in April of this year. I haven't been there since 2008 or 9. I can't remember now. Maybe 2009.
And the IDF is there. The IDF stands there like their backup.
Correct. Yeah. So the way people may not know, but like the geography of the West Bank is that there's kind of a populated spine of Palestinian territory, going from Jenin in the north all the way down to Hebron in the south. Jerusalem is right in the middle of that. And then there's rural settlements all around, like rural Palestinian villages all over the West Bank. The Israelis have basically taken the high ground everywhere, just because of the way Israeli Supreme Court decisions worked out and things like that. So every hilltop has an Israeli settlement on it that looks out on the Palestinian villages below, like this panopticon kind of crazy situation.
Wow.
And now the Israelis they've gone, this was the situation like 2006 and 7. Now they've started moving down from the hilltops because basically the Israeli government is just ignoring the Supreme Court's decisions, and even then the Supreme Court tends to ratify their decisions after the fact anyway. So now the Palestinians are being kicked out of even their own villages. Right now, I forget the name of the town, but right now there has been a sustained and ongoing regular settler attack on a village outside of Ramallah, which is populated almost exclusively by American citizens.
Yep, and there's a lot of Christians, right?
And it's a lot of them are Christians, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's completely nuts. And there was just a reporter, I forget it again. I wish I could remember the details. I forget his name.
They were in there, yup.
And they assaulted him.
Right? He ran from the vehicle, got away. But the other person that he was with suffered a brain hemorrhage.
This Israeli settler, who's a huge, if you look at the video, he's a large fellow. It's not like he's some, not that beating up.
Metal rods.
He smashes an old woman in the head 3 times with a club. It's like, what on earth are you doing? There's no scenario where this is okay. It's completely crazy. And this guy, the amazing thing about it is this reporter, again, I really wish I could remember his name, but this reporter starts talking to the U.S. Embassy, and he says, look, the IDF is not protecting us. We are American citizens. We are breaking no law. We are doing absolutely nothing. We are being assaulted by citizens of Israel. And the embassy just tells him to screw off, basically. It's kind of amazing. And actually, it's kind of funny because I actually had the exact same experience on March 23rd or 24th. Now I can't remember, the day of or the day after Nasser was bombed. The hospital I was at was bombed and my patient was killed. I posted on Twitter and it went viral because, it was saying an American citizen was almost killed in Gaza. And so I got a call, and it was a 972 number. 972 is the country code for Israel. And I was like, maybe it's an Israeli journalist calling. Let me just pick it up. It was the U.S. Embassy. And I said, hey, they were like, we saw your Twitter and we wanted to make sure you're okay. I was like, no, obviously I'm fine because I posted on Twitter that I was alive, so I'm fine. Yeah. But, if you want to make sure I stay fine, maybe you could tell the Israelis not to bomb Nasser Hospital again. And they said, oh, that's really not our role. Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. They're using our weapons to do these things. Of course it's your role.
Wow, we got loud audio over here. That's because there's some behind the scenes, action going on between our president and their prime minister.
Probably. And and it was, and just so nobody misunderstands me, it was just as bad under Biden. I mean, it was just, it's not a flaw of the Trump administration. It's a problem with our ruling elite in general.
Why wouldn't they honor the ceasefire?
Yeah, because they're
oh yeah,
they weren't.
oh yeah,
And
that's exactly the thing.
It's out here.
Sorry, am I yelling?
Not you. It's me. It's on my end, not yours. You're not, but what I was going to say is, it seems like their president, in every opportunity to show some kind of overstepping or authority over our president, it seems like he's doing it. With every opportunity he has, he's saying he's just disobeying our president, and he's not doing anything that he's promising.
Yeah.
And it's getting really disheartening for Americans, and it's really driving most, I think, of society crazy to see a prime minister from a country that's so small basically one-upping our president over and over. And
we got about a minute left.
Yeah. So you're feeling the same way, I take it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We sent, meaning American healthcare workers, we sent the Biden administration 2 letters, and we sent the Trump administration 1, just saying what we saw in Gaza and asking to meet with them and tell them in person. No response from any of them. It's just shocking.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely shocking.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It shows you that we don't have a democratic country, which is like small d democratic country.
Yeah.
It's just it's. I think this is putting into stark relief for a lot of people what our political system actually is, and it's not what we're told it is.
So real quick, where could people support you? Where could they go to help you out on your journeys?
And how could they follow you?
Nobody needs to help me out with anything. But if you want to follow me on Twitter was X, it's just my name, Feroze Sidhwa, or on Instagram, and what's the other thing? Threads is just F Sidhwa. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time tonight, and maybe we'll get you on again in the future. And you could.
Yeah, you're a champion, and we appreciate all your work. And
thank you guys.
Very brave.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your
Thank you. I appreciate it.
contribution.